No, I haven't. Should we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so those of you that were in Mr. Helby's class before are not aware of this, and you're going to have to remind me every day, Patricia, I'm going to forget. These fun, fancy screens have the ability to record what happens in class. And so a couple years ago, what's that? Yep, and your voice too. All it sees is what happens on the screen. Okay, so actually here, let me talk. Okay, so you guys did some diagnostic tests yesterday, and so what I want to know from you before I go over, we can spend some time going over questions of things that you did not understand. But what I said, the real reason for this is for me to kind of know where the weak points in this class are. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is think about in your head right now, rank those 4 things. Number 1 is the easiest, and number 4 is the hardest. Okay? And I'm going to ask you to give me your numbers, and then I can kind of see where we're at. Okay? So we'll start in the back with Jefferson. Give me your, just read across to me how it goes.
1, 2, 4, 3.
4, 3. Okay? Awesome. Christian?
I had 3 and 4.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so algebra is easy, and then it got worse and worse and worse. Gabe?
I don't know. I can look at it.
No. Okay, April? Not sure yet. Marcella? 1, 2, 4, 3. Okay, so the C is which one? Is that the geometry?
No,
Okay.
functions.
Oh, the functions. Oh, okay. Well, we don't deal with those in calculus very much. Connor? 1, 2, 3, 4, just like it was. Okay, so algebra, you guys are pretty good with. Geometry, you're okay, but then the last 2 sections were a little bit shaky, is what I was picking up on. Gabby? Okay. 2, 2, 3, 1. So, okay. So really, the functions just totally nailed it.
Do you want us to break
I like
that?
that.
I like the trick.
Terrible.
Okay, Ashley?
Yeah.
He's told me.
1, 2, 4.
Okay. I know.
Taylor? 4, 4, 4, 4. Easiest was 1, 2, 4, 3. Okay, so I kind of get. Is anybody? So mostly it was in order of how it was presented.
Change across the
No.
board.
No.
So these were the 2. Generally speaking, these were the 2.
No, this is easy.
What?
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
1, 3, 4, 2.
Really? 1, 3, 4, 2. So the functions, you totally nailed it, and the
I'm 4 is all across the board.
4 is all the way across. Okay. All right, so that helps
You
you.
want to go?
You want to go? Okay, go ahead.
2,
2,
1,
1,
4, 3.
4, 3.
Yeah, that I agree, kind
Okay.
of.
Kind of,
Switch
okay.
to 1 and 2.
Okay. All right. Okay, good. So that helps me, and that's probably about what we would expect.
I know how to do all of it, I just can't remember.
That's
Yeah,
what I
what's
thought
yours?
exactly.
I can't remember.
1, 1, 1, 1.
Because and my brain is
Not
fried.
quite all the way there yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with, let's see, diagnostic test A. Were there any problems in there? You have all the answers, but were there any of them in there that you said, how in the world did they get that answer? Leanne? Diagnostic test A. What was that again?
Yeah, 2C.
2C. Okay, so let's review our rules of exponents.
Oh, wait, I didn't do that.
I didn't first.
No, it didn't have to be this one.
Really, yeah, didn't have to do it. Okay, so we got a lot of different things going on here. So this is a good one. There's a lot of good stuff in this one problem, okay? Let's start with this negative exponent on the outside, and that's going to be easy to deal with because we have a fraction. When you have a fraction raised to a negative power, what do you do with the fraction?
Flip it.
Flip it, good. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to rewrite this with the x squared and the y to the negative 1/2 on top, and the 3x to the 3/2 and the y cubed on the bottom. And now the negative 2 as the exponent becomes a positive 2. Yes? Okay,
Slow that down.
Yeah, we gotta watch.
let's rewind.
Well, now it's on the video.
Okay, are you ready?
And
Okay,
you just have to like
so
walk slower.
we're gonna switch the fraction around. Okay, so the stuff that was on the bottom
Okay, I know.
now goes on the
After
top.
you write it down,
Okay.
I'm usually slow down.
Gotcha. So you're gonna be the Forrest Gonzalez. Wait, I'm still writing it down.
Yeah, my kind doesn't move as fast.
Okay. So I will give you some time to think. Okay, all right.
Yep.
Okay, now we can deal with the exponent on the outside. Every single thing in here has to be squared, okay? So x squared squared, what's the rule when you do a power to a power?
Adds it, multiply.
Multiply. Okay, and in this case, either way it would work out the same, but we're multiplying. 2 times 2 is 4. So y to the negative 1/2 squared would be y to the negative 1, yeah, because negative 1/2 times 2 is negative 1. Okay, Mr. Pugh, good morning. What do I have? I've got 16 of the sharpest kids in the county. Right here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's what I told them
We're
yesterday.
not varsity.
That's what I told them. This is varsity math team right here. You know what I have right here? I have, I'm not gonna remember her name, it's totally blanked out, but I know who she is.
Somebody.
This young lady right here, and she comes in and she says, hey, can you record even when I'm here so I can go home and watch the video?
That's awesome.
And look at our learning plan that we're today.
What do you got today?
16.
Graph
Oh, what's
and
our thing?
order real numbers.
No. That was last week.
That was last
I
week.
forgot to change it. Hold on. Oops.
Way to go, Leanne.
A second.
Why is ours so much longer? That's what else.
Because you're smarter, you gotta learn.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, okay.
What do we got there?
Understand the 4 ways of representing a function verbally, numerically, visually, and algebraically.
He wouldn't have known.
No. Okay, so we raised the stuff on the top, we squared the stuff on the bottom, or now we have to do the stuff on the bottom, right? So 3 squared is 9. Okay, and what is, this is a tough one for a calculus class.
3x to the
Okay, good. 3 halves times 2 is 3, okay? Because the 2's cancel, and so you're left with x cubed. And then y to the 3rd squared is y to the 6th. All right? Everybody feel good about that? All right, I slow down a little bit? Okay, I got a little excited there. Sorry. Okay, so now we can simplify a little bit.
Yeah, the
Crickets.
x, it's x, just x on top.
Right, it's just x on top because
And the
when
y's
you
on the
are
bottom.
dividing, you subtract the exponent. So 4 minus 3 is 1. So I'm going to have just a plain old x on the top. I'm going to have a 9 on the bottom, and then I'm going to take always the bigger number minus the smaller number. So I'm going to do, in this case, the number on the bottom minus the number on the top. Which
Wait,
is
no, because,
Why has to be?
yeah, there you go, there you go.
Did it say in the directions to not use negative exponents? Yeah, without using negative exponents. So I could have said -1 take away 6 is -7 and put a y to the -7th on the top. But then since it said no negative exponents, I'd have to move that to the bottom to make it positive. Okay? So to save that intermediate step, Gabe, what I always do when I'm doing this little process is I just go bigger exponent minus the smaller one. And the answer always goes where the bigger exponent started. Okay? All right. Hey, anything else from diagnostic test A?
Rational expression.
4C.
4C.
And D and E.
I wrote that down.
Ooh, boy. I don't know if I can do that one.
Oh, God, I forgot.
Oh, because that's when you
I
do
didn't know.
the
Out of your house. Yeah, your house.
Oh,
I forgot to do that. Oh.
That's a great idea. Yeah, nice. I like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I
Okay,
like.
now we got a little issue here because some of you coming from Mr. Helby, he did synthetic division like upside down, the way that I taught it and learned it. So I'm going to put it like a normal long division thing. Or no, that's long division, sorry. I'm going to put a box right here and then a line there. And then my coefficient is 1, -3, -4, and 12. Okay?
When
Yeah.
I went over the Helby's class for pre-cal, I was
Right.
so confused.
Right.
but I thought-
Doesn't he start on the bottom and go up somehow?
No, we started.
Okay, whatever. So you understand why, you'll get it really, you'll get it quickly. So you know where these numbers came from, right? Okay, those are the coefficients of those things there. We know that if there is a rational thing, it's going to be a factor of this. So choose a factor of 12 to try and see if it'll work with synthetic division. 3. Okay, so I'm going to put a 3 in the box. Okay?
Oh my god, I forgot.
And then you bring the 1 down.
And then 1 times
3 times 1 is 3.
minus 3.
Add those together and you get 0.
Okay,
3
we
times.
didn't,
Oh, you just,
this
you
is
just
what we
showed the
did
steps.
different. We didn't write the steps.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. 3 times 0 is 0. And then add those together and get -4. And 3 times -4 is -12. And since that is 0, we have a winner. Okay?
Hold on. Wait. I didn't know, where did you get
We guessed. We knew it was going to be a factor of 12. And so we just guessed.
So that's for
Okay.
like all of them.
The other easy way to do it, depending on whether you have access to a calculator or not, is to graph it. Can someone tell me what the original equation was? I forgot. X cubed
This is cool.
minus 3x squared, what?
Minus 4x.
Minus 4x
Plus 12.
plus 12. Okay, so let's do a little review here. Where are the rational roots to this equation?
Like
Where it crosses the x-axis, and so the reason why 3 worked is because it crosses at 3. And we can see what the other, I'm sorry, yeah, so you can see the other ones here also are going to be 2 and -2, okay? So you don't have to guess if you have a calculator. Any one of those would have worked, yep. And we're going to find them going this way also. Okay, so since 3 worked, that means that I can rewrite this as x minus 3. Are you guys good with that?
Yeah.
It's always the opposite. Equal or times, what is this now? Good, because I bumped the power down by 1. So since I started with a cubic, this is now a squared.
Minus 4.
Right, I have no x term, minus 4 equals 0. Right, and then you could say that you're done. I factored it, that's what you said, factored and I did, but we can factor it further because Raina says, I don't know why, Patricia, I just totally blanked on your name there. X plus 2 times x minus 2 equals 0.
Did you just give her name right now?
No, I just don't know why, just, you know, the
pressure gas.
Yeah, the pressure.
pressure gas. Yeah, administrator of institution of the mechanic.
It's kind of scary. I didn't like that scene, for the record. I don't like her color.
What's that?
I did not like that scene.
Is it real?
I didn't realize.
That's brown.
No,
was chanting like you
Okay, so you can see that this matches what we saw in the graph. This is 3, this is -2, and this is 2 as our solutions to those zeros of the equation, and then that's it. Yeah.
That was my test, but the other answer would be exactly what
This one right here.
No.
What does it say?
Just this back.
If it says factor, then you might get away with it, but if it says factor completely, then that means we want to roll over here. But generally speaking, you should just go as far as you can.
Can we do 4?
You can do 4E.
It'd be really nice if you did some 5.
I guess I did too.
I pulled out the.
I pulled out a 3.
I did 5A, and then after that I figured I knew how to do it. I started
Okay. Yeah, this is a little bit of a trick here because of the halves and stuff, huh? Anybody have any bright ideas?
Take X.
What do you want to factor out?
Oh, maybe we can.
Okay, good. Let's factor out all of these. First of all, you should have noticed they're multiples of 3, so you can pull a 3 out. Okay, and then if you take out an x to the negative 1/2, that's going to make all of these fractional exponents go away. Okay, because thinking backwards, when we did on the first problem a power to a power, we multiplied, right? But when you're doing two bases are the same, what do you do to the powers here?
Add them.
You add them. So I need something x to the something that if I add negative 1/2 to it, I get 3/2. What's that? 2. Okay, and so now we are happy because 2 plus negative 1/2 is 3/2. So that's going to work. Okay, and then same thing here. I factored out a 3, so that's going to be 3x to the just 3x because 1 plus negative 1/2 is 1/2, and then this is going to be plus 2, and we took out that to negative 1/2.
Wait,
Okay?
why? No, because those are, one's a positive, one's a negative, so we're
No, because if I multiply this back through,
that would be.
if I go negative 1/2 plus 1, I'll get x to the 1/2, right? And then if I go negative 1/2 plus 0, I get x to the negative 1/2. So we're okay. No. Talk to me more.
Alright, do the first, do the x one.
This one? This
Yeah, I
one.
know. How
Okay.
is that not?
What do you want this to be?
Because 1/2 plus 1/2 is 0.
Well, why would you say 1/2 plus 1/2? Because it's negative 1/2 plus 1.
So that makes.
Are you going this plus this?
Negative 1/2. Just like those two, the 9x to the half, to the 1/2,
Right?
and then the 6x to the negative 1/2,
Okay?
they're different exponents, but
Okay.
on the bottom one, they're the same.
Right, so let's try it this way. So when you are factoring, you're really dividing. Okay? So what I'm doing is I'm taking this original expression and I'm dividing it by 3x to the negative 1/2. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So 3 divided by 3 is 1.
And then the
And
negative
then what do I do when I
1/2
subtract, when I am dividing with exponents? What do I do with them?
Subtract.
Subtract them. So 3/2 minus negative 1/2 is 3/2 plus 1/2. So that is
Oh.
2. Are you with me
Oh,
now?
yeah.
Okay, so negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3, and then 1/2 minus a negative 1/2 is 1. Okay, and then when I do negative 1/2 minus negative 1/2, they cancel.
No, it'd be,
That'll leave me 2. Okay, so does that help a little bit?
yeah.
Okay, so basically we're just dividing and so we're subtracting it. Okay. All right, can we factor this?
Yeah.
I'm guessing so. What do we do, 2 and 1? And they're both negative, right? Okay. So now people in like Pakistan are going to watch this video and they're going to listen to that. So you are world famous.
You are.
There you go. Okay, does that help? So the key there was to pull something out of the beginning to make these things go away. And when this shows up again in your life, what you want to factor out is always the lowest power that's there. Okay? So since negative 1/2 was the smallest, that's what we took out. Okay? Okay, what else?
Number 5.
Jefferson?
Could you do like any of them?
Any of them from number 9. Don't skip ahead so much, Mary says. Okay, Mary,
What about number 5?
number 5. Which one?
I don't know, any of them. I just don't remember.
Any of
5A
them?
was really easy, don't do 5A.
Don't do 5A, factor and cancel. Don't do 5B, factor and cancel. Okay, let's do C.
Yeah, 35. Just do it.
Oh, it is
Is it on the advisory schedule?
I didn't even know what
5A and B.
10:45 to 11:35.
5A and B, just factor the polynomials as much as you can on top and on the bottom, and then cancel top things with bottom things that are the same. Okay? All right, so this one, if I asked you,
What problem is this? 5C.
if I asked you to go 1/7 minus 3/5,
Common
you get a common denominator. How would you find the common denominator of these two fractions? You would multiply them together and say that it is 35, right? Okay. Could there be a smaller one than 35?
No.
No, not in this case. How come?
Because they don't have any
They don't have any common factors, right? Okay. So what if I asked you to find the common denominator between 1/8 and 1/4? You would say,
16.
but you can do better than 16, right? 8, okay? Because 4 goes in there evenly, okay? All right, so the same thing is going to happen up here, okay?
Did you separate the x?
Yes, exactly. I'm going to rewrite this as x plus 2 times x minus 2, okay? And so that puts us into a situation like this. Since 8 is 4 times 2 already, I don't need to just multiply the two bottom numbers together, right? This has a 4 and a 2 in it, so this one is good. So I'm going to leave this as x plus 2 times x minus 2. This one only has a 4. What else do I need to make it match this? I need to multiply this by 2. So same thing here. This has an x plus 2 and this has an x plus 2. What do I have to multiply this by to make it match that? An x minus 2. Good. So this one is going to be also x plus 2 times x minus 2, except since I multiplied the bottom by x minus 2, what do I have to do to the top? I'll also multiply that by x minus 2, just like over here I would multiply that by 2. Okay? Yep. X plus 1. Yes, sorry. Okay? And then what do we do from there? Yeah, now it's just busy work. So we got a common denominator, so it's all going to be x plus 2 times x minus 2, x squared minus, what does this boil out to be? Squared minus 1x, good, because the plus 1x in the middle and the minus 2x on the outside makes minus 1x. And then minus 2. Okay, now this is all being subtracted though. So that minus sign is going to run through all of those things. So the x squared turns into a minus x squared, the minus 1x turns into a plus 1x, and the minus 2 turns into a plus 2. So final answer, the x squareds cancel. So you get x plus 2. Oh, this is not the final answer. Right. This will cancel with that, so 1 over x minus 2. Ooh, that was a lot of work.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
The x plus 2 is
Cool. What? Do you understand, first of all, how I got the x plus 2 from here? Do you understand how we got the x squared minus 1x minus 2? Yes, okay. So since this was, these fractions were being subtracted, okay, so it's x squared minus x squared, so those are gone. And then minus a negative 1x is a positive 1x, and minus a negative 2 is a positive 2. Okay? And then they cancel, and then what happens? Okay, visible in diagnostic test A. This was the easy one.
That's why I put it to.
Why deserves a 2? What's that? 5D. Okay, 5D, now that we've done 5C, should be, oh, never mind. So y over x minus x over y. Who comes up with this stuff? Who just sits around and goes, let's torture these children? What's a really complicated one these days? Yeah, probably. Yeah, he's listed on that BYU math thing over there. You want to go look at that. All right, so we got a double-decker fraction. So I need to get a common denominator on top, and I need to get a common denominator on the bottom. What's my denominator going to be on top?
XY.
XY. What's my denominator going to be on the bottom?
XY.
XY. Okay, that's fun.
YX actually.
No. Alphabetical order, please. Okay, so I multiplied these two together. So I have to multiply the y by y. So I get a y squared on top. And then since I multiplied this y by x, I have to multiply that by x also. So that here, give me x squared. Okay? Same thing down here on the bottom. Since I multiply this y by x, I have to multiply the numerator by x also. And then we have to minus 1. Okay, now you have to go way back to like 5th grade. When you're dividing two fractions, what do? Right, multiply by the reciprocal, so this top stays the same. And the bottom gets flipped. It becomes a multiplication problem. Cancel, bless you. And then, yeah, there's more fun to be had here because this is the difference of two squares. So this is y minus x times y plus x over x minus y.
Alphabetical order.
And there's one more fun thing that we can do.
Looks pretty legit.
Change the,
Right. Yeah, okay, so essentially what I can do is I can take this top and do what Leanne said, and if I multiply this by -1, then that makes that a negative y, and that makes that a positive x, so that switches those around and makes it x minus y.
Is that required though?
It is required, and then those cancel. Run the negative through.
It's pretty much.
When you have y, yeah, I did cheat. When you have y minus x and x minus y, they're the same but opposite. And so if I just throw in a -1, then I can make these.
So that makes it negative y minus x.
Right. Right. So if you have 5 minus y and you have y minus 5, those cancel and make -1. Okay. What time are we?
35.
Yeah.
but then according to that poster, x equals the future. So,
Yeah, but x is a variable, so over there it can equal the future, and over here it can equal the future. Okay, do you guys know Haley Walker?
Yes.
She's the one who made this poster for me, actually, and she posted something on Facebook. I don't know what all those different places are called. But I was lecturing on the stairway of success. She took a picture of it with her cell phone. She said, the stairway of success is one of my favorite lessons. And I said, I have no idea what the stairway of success is. I am too. Okay, now what? Are we done with 8?
no.
Number 9, Mary? 6A. Oh, yeah, you gotta rationalize and calculus all the time.
I didn't do any of those.
Okay, so it says rationalize the expression and simplify. So what do we multiply by? Be careful, right? The complex conjugate. Be careful. What is it?
It's the, I don't want to reply to plus 2 with
But you always change the sign on the square root, not on the real number.
Yeah, that's what I was
Okay.
doing wrong.
Yeah, so they tricked you by writing it in the wrong order. So this should be we multiplying by negative square root of 5 minus 2 on the bottom, and negative square root of 5 minus 2 on the top. Okay. So yeah, your instinct is always to change the sign of this because usually the irrational number comes second, but it doesn't really matter. You always just change whatever that is. Okay. What? Okay.
And just add multiply to square root 10.
Oh, okay.
Just multiply another, for example. Then 5 plus 2. And that's
And
it.
did it work out?
Yeah.
So did you still have a square root on the bottom of your? Yeah, you can absolutely show. Yeah.
We can make t-shirts of it.
That should be our t-shirts. They're probably like really high.
That's probably why.
And that, and these just will. Right. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. Crazy math across the world. All right, we'll do it the complicated way. So on top, I'm going to distribute the square root of 10, and so that's going to give me negative square root of 50 minus 2
Okay,
times
wait.
the square root of 10. I just distributed the square root of 10, okay? And then on the bottom, this is the difference of two squares backwards, and that's why we chose the complex conjugate. I don't want to confuse you too much, but if I do the square root of 5 times the square root of negative 5, what do I get? Negative 5, because the square roots cancel. If I do minus 2 times minus 2, I get plus 4 because the negatives cancel. And then the reason that we chose to multiply by that is this one.
The 5's negative. This side,
Oh, sorry, yeah, you're right, negative 5, thank you. So this right here would give me 2 times the square root of 5, and this right here would give me negative 2 times the square root of 5, and those things cancel, right? And so that leaves me with negative square root of 50 minus 2 root 10 over negative 1, which makes this square root of 50 plus 2 root 10. And that's what you got, right? Okay.
Wait, now can she show it?
Yeah, because hers is way easier.
Okay,
So
show
I'm
it.
afraid it only works in a really specific circumstance. So we'll just have to keep looking for it. You're going to fire me and ask her to teach you math when you see the math.
We can just, okay. I just multiply. This is the same and just opposite sign to this. So it's going to be
And it worked out. So what she did is when she multiplied, see, we changed
just
the
opposite sign.
we changed the sign on the square root because we wanted the square root to cancel, so we had to do that. But she changed the sign of the real number instead, or the rational number, and then magically, for reasons that I don't really understand right now, but we'll kind of keep watching this as we go through the class, the denominator just disappears. Okay? So it's where are you from? So it's Kazakhstan magic. You just do this and then that's gone. And all you have to do is distribute that square root of 10, which is much easier than what I did.
and it always
Okay?
works.
And she says it always works.
So she's basically.
Always.
Always.
Okay, thank you. So we'll have to keep an eye open for that as we do, okay? All right, let's try, one more. We can finish up this diagnostic test A.
Where did the rest of my text?
It might, but that's okay. You have to know this stuff before we can move on.
Let's just review this.
Okay, so are we ready for number 9 yet, Mary?
Yeah.
You're good?
I just like be there.
Okay.
Connor needs 7, 8.
Connor needs what?
7, 8.
7, 8,
8. 7, 8.
7, 8.
7, 8. Letter 8. Like A or B. You know I'm saying 7, 8. I thought you were
Okay, completing the square. Ready?
I
Yeah.
have so many questions.
Completing the square. So I am going to
Just wait till the next section.
take the number in front of the x. What's the coefficient in front of the x? 1. Cut it in half. 1/2 and square it. 1/4. Okay, so that's going to give me a 1/4 right there. And then to balance that out so I don't change the value of the equation, I have to subtract 1/4 over here. Okay? Yes, and then I'm going to group these guys together. And since I factored that by completing the square, I know that it's going to factor into x plus 1/2 squared. That's more Kazakhstan magic for you right there. This stuff right here, this turns into that. Okay? This number right here will always be whatever half of that is. Okay, and you can check your, 1 half times 1 half would be the 1/4, x times x is x squared, 1 half x, 1 half x, add up to 1 half, right? And then combine my like terms here, and that is, half of this number right here
Yeah.
is a half, squared is 1/4. That's called completing the square, square. Okay? Oh, look, it says if you have had difficulty with these problems, you may wish to consult a review about them. Did you? Didn't help.
No, it didn't work.
Oh, it didn't work?
Yeah, like I went on Facebook or whatever.
I saw it.
But
I'm like,
you would choose the algebra help or the algebra and then it went
That's okay. You would do that probably if you were in college because your university professor would not spend all day going over this stuff with you. They would just say, you know it. But it's high school, I'm here for it. So, okay. We have time for one more, we can get one more.
one more.
Okay.
Nine.
We're ready for 9. Jefferson's been very patient about number 9.
9 what?
9, 8.
I got the beat.
9, 8. All right, so we got ourselves a compound inequality here because we got double inequality signs, and that's no big deal. We just have to do what we do to all 3 parts of the inequality. So we're trying to get the x all by itself. This would have been algebra, 8th grade. Yeah, that's why I don't remember. So I'm going to get rid of the 5 by subtracting. So I'm going to subtract 5 from here, subtract 5 from here, and subtract 5 from there. Okay? So -4 take away 5 is? -9. The 5's cancel, leave us with -3x. 17 take away 5 is 12. Okay? Yep. And then same thing to get rid of the negative.
There's a line. There's a equal to,
What's the matter?
there's a line.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so it's less than or equal to. Okay. Okay, now I need to get rid of the -3 by dividing by -3. So I have to divide everybody by -3, right? And what you're remembering from 8th grade is that when you divide by negative, you have to flip the inequality. So -9 divided by -3 is 3. Rather than being less than, this is greater than. The -3's cancel, leaving an x. Less than or equal to becomes greater than or equal to -4.
I see.
Okay? All right? Okay, so if you needed more time to kind of work on this stuff,